Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Aydin Aliyev, and I'd like to give a warm welcome to everybody listening to Diving Deep. This is the first episode of our podcast, and in this podcast, we will be discussing the different problems and issues faced by our current generation. And yeah, without further ado, let's begin. So today I'm joined by Aydin Aliyev, a local activist for climate change. He's a member of Greystones Educate Together National School, and he's been really active in the climate change. He's been promoting it in his school. He's been elected as the member of the student council, where he'll be hopefully discussing what he'll do there. So Aydin, say hello there.
Hi, I'm Aydin. Just shout out to my mum and dad, and I love them so much, and I'm happy to be on Diving Deep today.
Okay, thank you, Aydin. Now, Aydin, tell me, when I say climate change to you, what do you think of?
I think of all the pieces of transport we've been using, like cars, planes, all the fossil fuels going into our atmosphere, which causes global warming. And then in some countries, when, for example, in winter it's meant to be a bit cold and everyone's meant to be shivering, it's actually a lot warmer, and it's not usual and people aren't used to it.
That's fair. That's very, very good. Very good. So, I was reading recently, and the polar ice caps are melting at very alarming rates, and the polar bears, and yet people just go on and live their lives like it's nothing is happening. What do you think we should be doing? What do you think?
Well, I'm very sad to hear that the polar ice caps are melting, and feel all bad for the animals and their habitats. I think we should be using, I know the way you want to get to places far away and you can't cycle or walk there, it's going to take too long. You'll have to either use your car or something. I think we should make a piece of transport, for example, a bus. Rather than using 20 or 40 cars, we could just use a bus with loads of people going to the same place.
Okay, that's a fair point. But we have buses already, and But do you think we need to improve the public transport in terms of buses and trains? And what do you think? What certain public transport should we be improving?
Definitely, I think the darts, the trains, they should be going to places more in like longer range, more further. They only go to certain limits, not so far out.
Yeah. And do you think some routes should come more often than other ones? So, for example, say we'd want to link log from Galway to Dublin, maybe there should be more routes that should come more often, or maybe if we want to go from Greystones. So I know a very big bus that I take quite often is the 84X, and it's a really useful bus, but it has very, I would say, arbitrary times. It comes at random times. So would you say that we need to have them more frequent and maybe sacrifice some other bus routes for that? Or merge them, or maybe merge some bus routes together?
Yeah, I think so. That would be a pretty good idea as well.
Okay. So, I've heard that you are a climate change activist, obviously. What does it mean to be a climate change activist, exactly?
It means that you, in everyday life, so you're walking down, you look around, you see problems, and you think of how to solve them, and then you share your ideas with everyone else. And sometimes they agree, sometimes they disagree, and yeah.
Okay. That's fair enough. How do you think we could be helping stop climate change? I know about, turn off the lights, don't run the water, but we need more. We need more. It's not enough. I feel like it's not enough. What do you think we should be doing?
I think the shops maybe they could give their food and fruit like loose, not in so much packaged. But I know in some vegetables and fruits or whatever, you have to have have to be packaged. Like for example, when you buy your salads,
Yeah.
like Rocket, they have to be packaged.
Okay.
So I think it does use plastic, but we're using so much plastic, so the loose and the package just go in one cardboard box, and you bring the cardboard box with you home. So when you come back the next time, instead of like for example taking plastic, you can just put it in your cardboard box, reusing it over and over again, rather than putting your bananas in like a plastic bag and then putting it in the bin, which is using plastic over and over again.
So you definitely think that plastic is a big factor we need to stop, because that's obviously there's not an efficient ways yet to reduce or eradicate them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. So I want to briefly talk about renewable energy. I think this is a really interesting topic. I think there's lots of development going on in this topic. What do you know about renewable energy?
Well, I know that some data centers they are powered by wind. Someone told me once, and I think in some of the new modern houses there's solar panels, which is very good to see. And I think we could reuse energy from the sun, but not every place has the sun. Like for example, here in Ireland, we don't get sun as much as like for example somewhere more like Spain.
Okay.
So I was thinking, I'm not sure how, but we could find a way to create rain into an energy.
So hydroelectric, is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Yeah.
So you think we should? Yeah, that's a good. So obviously we receive bit more rain because of our geographical location. So you think that there should be more like hydroelectric power plants? You think?
Yeah.
And just ways to create energy using rain, as we do receive quite a lot of it. So you think that's what we need. That's the direction we need to go to.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of young people who's probably listening to this and trying to be more economically friendly, I suppose. What advice do you have? What can they do in their schools? How can they promote this?
They could. Let's see. Maybe in some places where it's possible to cycle or walk. Like for example, let's say you live, 10 minutes from the library or 20 minutes from the library. Or, no, 20 minutes is too far, but 10 minutes. Rather than going there with a car, maybe you could cycle or walk.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay, and for example, say for someone who lives quite far away. Say for example, if you take a person who would be living here where you live in Greystones, and say that they want to get to maybe Sandyford, that's quite a long way. How do you think, what's the most efficient? Okay, say that they don't want to use the car. What do you think is the most efficient way to go about this?
Either maybe a bus, if any buses go there, of course. But like maybe if we could make a route for like Darts or Lewis's all the way to Sandyford. If we could make a route like that, or a bus, that would be really efficient because the Darts are quite fast.
Okay, I've a question for you now. In terms of public transport, so lots of other countries, they have underground metros. Take the likes of Spain, lots of the Scandinavian countries. France have them too. In England, the tube, that's I think, or the subway, it's also referred to. Do you think if you were now the Minister of Public Transport and you were given a large enough budget of money, like you had an extensive budget, and you had to pick between extending the Lewis line to maybe Bray, Greystones, Kilcool, or to start building tube or an underground metro? What would you do?
I think an underground metro because it would be more efficient, and for example the Lewis, I think just to make 3 more stops, I don't think it'll really contribute that much. I think if we made an underground metro, it would be much easier to get places because there's no traffic, such like that. It's by itself. So yeah, I think an underground metro would be.
So you think underground metro because that's a good choice. Right now, maybe there isn't a direct way to get to Sandyford, but it's quite. You can take a bus and walk. I think you can make the journey. I mean, for some places, it's not very realistic to only take public transport. But okay, yeah, no, that's a good point. So we talk a lot about raising awareness. I know Greta Thunberg is very good at this. But how do we make them take action? Everybody's good at raising awareness. I'm sure even people who aren't really believers of climate action, they can raise awareness too. But very little people take action. So how do you think we need to encourage more people to take action? What's the best way?
I think we should show them what is happening to our Earth and show them the consequences if they don't contribute to what is happening. So I think then they might realize, oh no, I need to do something here, rather than just sit back and like, oh, what doesn't matter.
Okay, no, that's so you need to raise more awareness. Do you think maybe we could have, I don't know, for example, some schools every year or maybe every few months, some schools could be nominated to go represent and talk about climate in the UN. Maybe go into the UN and talk about their ideas so that the young people of our generation will also have a say in the UN, and maybe it might influence them to take more climate action. What do you think of that?
I think so too, because I think young people like me or other people a bit older, a bit younger, they see the problems and they find new, efficient, cool ideas, and I think if we share them with the world, we could stop this climate change.
Okay. Thanks very much, Aydin. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening here. This was a really, really enjoyable conversation, and I will be releasing much more content soon. But I'd like to thank a lot Aydin Aliyev for sacrificing some of his time to talk about how he, as a climate activist, is trying to shape our future, and so can you. So again, Aydin, thank you very much for joining me. Maybe we might have a follow-up, maybe with something soon on a different topic. But for now, I'd like to thank everybody who's listening here, and just share. I really would like to have lots of people all around our country to come and speak about their opinion, to speak up, to be confident in what they think. So thank you very much, and I'm going to finish and wrap up now, and yeah.